Man, we got some people telling me the sun is 93 million miles away. Can you believe that? And I say, no, that can't be. That's impossible. And they're like, oh, well, actually, this equation predicts that the sun is 93 million miles away. And then I'm like, oh, take a look at this photo, dumb motherfucker. Do you see in the red ring, it's all white? I wonder why that is. Maybe because the sun is local and that it's right above it. Yeah, maybe. Okay, that might be it. I don't know. And then you follow the orange little dots, and then you can see some shadow. Why is that? Why isn't it all just white? Or why isn't it all just little shadows? Right? Hmm. And then in the yellow dot, it gets even darker. So it seems like the further away you get from the sun, the darker it gets. Why would that matter with a sun that's 93 million miles away? Shouldn't we see the earth being illuminated evenly? Shouldn't we? That's what they teach us. In the next photo, is that a little smudge on the screen? Or is that a goddamn hot spot, right? Directly over the sun? Now tell me, Mr. Equation, how that's possible with the sun that's 93,000,000 miles away. Tell me, how can there is it like a laser beam in the center? The sun is it's just a laser beam and that's what produces that hot spot? And you call me crazy, right? That's what it's all about. Just calling people names. Yeah, you're crazy too. In fact, you fucking insane if you believe that the sun is 93 million miles away. Look at that photo. And then we get to the sun rays through clouds. Yeah, that's interesting. Because the last time I checked, the angle in which the sun was hitting the earth is 90 degrees. Do you see those blue lines? Those lines are parallel with the sun rays, and they form angles. And those angles are not 90 degrees. So maybe something's wrong. Is the sun lying? The sun might be lying to us, right? The sun's a liar, right? That's what it is. Or maybe, just maybe NASA is lying to us. Google is lying to us. Maybe the sun isn't 93 million miles away. Because that's what we see. And on the right is what we should be seeing. 90 degrees, evenly lighting up the earth. Right? We should see those sun rays coming straight down, forming 90-degree angles with the water. Do you see that happening? No, I don't. I sure as hell don't see that. So then I'm going to teach you about what's really going on. This is reality, right? This is reality. And then where you live is in the section called distorted reality, right? Because in our reality, the sun is close, like it appears, like it measures. And in your reality, Ain't nothing makes sense whatsoever. So in the actual reality, the sun moves around the equator. And that's why places on the equator are hot. Do you see how that's possible now? Because it ain't possible on the fucking globe, that's for sure. That's for fucking certain. So which way is north? Which way is south and east and west? On the flat earth model, you might ask. So the north is the North Pole. That's in the center. The sun and the moon revolve around the North Pole on the equator. The region inside of the equator is the northern hemisphere, right? And then below the equator is the southern hemisphere. Everything makes sense. Okay. And I don't want to sound condescending or anything, but it's really close to the globe model, so it shouldn't be that fucking difficult to understand. If you want to go west, you move clockwise around the equator. If you want to go east, you move counterclockwise. Okay. This all makes sense. So now we know the sun is moving on the equator, locally, about 3,000 miles away. And I'm going to highlight 2 points on the equator: Middle Africa, and then a top sliver of South America. Okay? See how it's the same? The map doesn't really change. The globe just kind of bends it at the equator and forms a ball. That's all that it is. So why can't you get your head around it? So we're going to focus in on an area in South America, a country called Ecuador. So now we're looking at Ecuador. We have the equator going straight through it, represented by the white dots. You can see Ecuador on the flat earth map and the globe map in the bottom right corner. And now you must be thinking, how is the equator a circle? Wouldn't that mean the sun would be moving away from us? If you're in Ecuador, it's moving away, right? 12 p.m. is the biggest it gets. It's right above your head. It's the closest to the sun. And then as it moves away, it gets smaller, right? That's what we're predicting. That's our hypothesis. Okay. So now we're going to test our hypothesis. And we're going to go to Ecuador. And we're going to see if it gets smaller. And if it does, that means we have a local sun. That's how science works. We test our hypothesis with empirical evidence. So now we're going to look at this video. This is our test, okay? Yeah, okay. Just like we predicted, it's getting smaller. Wow. Replay that. Yeah, I don't know how that's possible on a globe. This doesn't make sense on a globe. Yeah, that's tiny. Do you see? Do you see what's on the screen right now? Tell me you see what's on the screen. Okay, so that's your proof. We just tested a hypothesis and it proved to be correct. So what are you gonna believe now, motherfuckers? I don't know. I don't really care. All I know is that the sun ain't 93 million miles away. All I know is that somebody's lying to us. And that's why I'm calling BS On the sun being 93 million miles away, ladies and gentlemen, we've been deceived.